This tutorial aims to help explain empirical formulae calculations using Lego. First, calculate the simplest whole number ratio of plate blocks to wheel blocks for a Lego vehicle consisting of 20% plate block and 80% wheel blocks. Secondly, given that the mass of a vehicle is 20 grams, how many building blocks are required to make one vehicle? You may have seen the first part of this question covered in the tutorial on explaining empirical formulae calculations using Lego. You could pause the tutorial and check if you remember how to solve it. As it has been covered before, I shall go through the calculation part more quickly. First, assume you have 100 grams of total mass. Then calculate the number of plate blocks and wheel blocks present. Now work out the simplest whole number ratio of plate blocks to wheel blocks by dividing the number of blocks through by the smallest number of blocks calculated to be present in 100 grams. This gives us a ratio of 1 plate block to 2 wheel blocks. This doesn't tell us exactly what vehicle may be present. At the bottom are two vehicles which have this simplest whole number ratio of plate block to wheel block. Given the simplest whole number ratio of plate blocks to wheel blocks for a vehicle is PWB2 and that the mass of a vehicle is 20 grams, how many building blocks are required for making one vehicle? So we could work out the mass of a set consisting of 1 plate block and 2 wheel blocks. So 2 grams times 1 plus 4 grams times 2 giving us a total mass of 10 grams. We could then work out the mass of 2 sets, so 2 building blocks and 4 wheel blocks. So 10 grams times 2 giving you 20 grams. 3 sets, 30 grams, 4 sets, 40 grams, 5 sets, 50 grams. Going through this more slowly. The mass of the empirical formula, that of 1 plate block and 2 wheel blocks, will be equal to the mass of 1 plate block and the mass of a wheel block times by 2, giving us a total mass of 10 grams. If we divide the total mass of a vehicle by the mass of the empirical formula unit, we find it is made of 2 lots of the empirical formula. So we can say the molecular formula of a vehicle is P2WB4. A possible vehicle could be the one shown on the bottom right of the screen. You may wish to pause the tutorial and try this question yourself before having the answer revealed. What is the simplest whole number ratio of blocks in a Lego vehicle consisting of 33.3% plate blocks and 66.7 wheel blocks by mass? If we assume there is a total mass of 100 grams, 33.3% becomes 33.3 grams and 66.7% becomes 66.7 grams. It doesn't matter what you take as the total mass, as you'll obtain the same simplest whole number ratio of blocks. However, choosing 100 grams means just effectively changing the units from percentage to grams without any additional calculations. To help solve the question systematically, it helps draw a table and have a standard set of steps to carry out. Firstly, create a column for each of the blocks. Then write the masses assuming you have a total mass of 100 grams. Then write the masses of the blocks. Calculate the number of blocks present. The equation you'll use is total mass of blocks divided by the mass of one block. This will give us a ratio of plate blocks to wheel blocks. Using the ratio of blocks, now calculate the simplest whole number ratio of blocks. We can write this in shorthand form as PWB, and if we were pretending it was a molecule in chemistry, we would refer to this as the empirical formula for the Lego vehicle. 2 vehicles which have this empirical formulae are shown at the bottom of the screen, in the bottom right hand corner. If we have a look at the 2 vehicles at the bottom of the screen, They both have a ratio of 1 plate block to 1 wheel block, and if either vehicle was analysed, they would give 33.3% plate block and 66.7% wheel block as a percentage by mass. Given the simplest whole number ratio of blocks of a vehicle is PWB, and that the mass of a vehicle is 18 grams, what is the actual number of blocks required to make the vehicle? This question is a continuation of the last question. We can work out the mass of a basic unit of 1 plate block and 1 wheel block, giving us a total mass of 6 grams. The mass of a plate block, 2 grams, plus the mass of a wheel block, 4 grams, giving us a total mass of 6 grams. If we divide the total vehicle mass by the mass of our empirical formula unit, we find it is made of 3 lots of the wheel block plus plate block. Thus, a vehicle could be summarised as P3WB6, which, if this was a molecule in chemistry, would be its molecular formula. 2 possible vehicles are shown at the bottom of the page.